Hello, Odette. I really enjoyed our third date. Can we go on another one next year?
Absolutely, but let's not make love. Let's just spoon. Get it?
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by the good people at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe where we can.
Very serious episode this.
Dan, some of the Shark season comes to an end, positive fashion. Jump straight into it right now.
Yes.
Let's start with the men.
The men.
The
dirty, rotten losers.
Look, valiant effort against the Panthers for about 65 minutes on Saturday night. Unfortunately, they just capitalised on our errors towards the end of the game, and it is what it is. At the start of the year, if you had offered me a prelim, I'd bite your hand off for it. I don't care how we got there. I don't care that we lost the game, won a game, lost the game. I wouldn't care if we'd beaten Melbourne in week one and then lost to whoever to get to that prelim. That was the pass mark for us this year.
Yep.
That's what we need to do. We've got one of the best forwards in the game coming to us next year.
We do.
Still, though,
there.
On the night, after Katoa scored that try, kind of felt like we had all the running. Don't think Penrith were expecting us to be so resilient on our line, considering how quickly we had caved, in previous games, and how easy they put 42 on us and how easy Melbourne scored some tries. And then just one error, right? And we said it on here, and we've said it on our podcasts, that to beat Penrith, you've got to be perfect, and you need to ice the little moments, and that Oregon Kafusi drop is going to haunt us, because that was fourth tackle, 45 metres out from their line. We had made 45 metres on that set.
Good set.
Really good set. And that fourth tackle, because when they tackled him, it was over the 40 metre line when they tackled him, but he had already dropped the ball.
He'd won the
contact, the first one of the night for Oregon.
That's all right.
And, oh man, they go down the other end. Atkinson shoots out. I don't want to sound like I'm slamming Brayley here, but I think he could have done way more on that Nathan Cleary effort that he did. And then, Nathan Cleary just took the moment. That was it.
I'm glad you used the word valiant. I thought they were good. I was proud. Like last year when we lost that final, I was ropeable. I was disgusted. I recorded a podcast. I swore. Every swear in the book I used. This time I thought, good effort.
Yeah.
Do not get me wrong. We were outplayed.
Yeah.
I never felt like we were going to score. Even when we scored, you're like, they're going to take it off us somehow. We've run a Shepherd who's dropped it, or a combination of both. When they scored, I was like, I'm glad they did, because the boys worked hard enough to earn, I know it sounds stupid, but to score a try against Penrith, which has been historically very difficult for us. Mm-hmm. You look at it 1-17, their side was heaps better than us. I tweeted after that, it took the best team of the modern generation to knock us out.
Yeah.
And I stand by that. I'm super proud of the efforts. Look, they weren't great on the night. I never felt like we were in the ascendancy. I never felt like we were going to win the game. But the fact is that you and I sat right here last week and said, we just want to be competitive. Mm-hmm. We want to put a scare into them. We want to set up for next year. And I feel like we've done that. Yeah,
and go back and listen to the podcast. I said if we walked out of that game 26 points to 10, but we'd had a crack, we would have been happy. 26-6. I felt we left a try on the field, right?
Definitely.
But I also think Penrith probably left one or two on there as well. Yeah. In no way am I saying that we were better than them on the night. I'm just saying for a brief period after halftime, we had Penrith thinking, because they weren't icing their moments. No. They made a couple of mistakes coming off their line. It was a very un-Penrith-like performance until they just went, hang on a minute.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
We're Penrith.
Do you remember a couple of weeks back when they played the Roosters?
Yeah.
And the Roosters were all over them in the second half, made one mistake, and then the Panthers just blew them away? It's exactly what they did. They just wait. And they're like, we know Cronulla can't do this for 80 minutes. Yep. And Cronulla did it for 55 to 60 minutes. Mm-hmm. A few minutes there, give or take. Trindle's early kick, if that goes over, it's a different game.
Oh, my God. And Cleary, that's the difference.
Cleary went in by a metre. If that went a metre the other side of the thing, it's a different set of circumstances. So I'm super proud of the effort.
Like that Dylan Edwards save was incredible. And then any other night, Sunir, like the Katoa, he slides an extra metre.
It just wasn't meant
when
to
the football gods love a football team, they absolutely love a football team. And look, we're going to talk a bit about Penrith later on in the show, so please, Penrith fans, stick around and see this, because I'm going to give you some really, really high praise in this. But, it was like that game where they beat us 20-10 at Penrith a few years back when Matt Moylan put on a bit of a first half masterclass. You got to be perfect.
80 minutes.
You got to be perfect against them, and they're playing against probably the only team in the competition that can be perfect.
Yeah.
We've taken on both of them.
We have, which shows you, hey, look, if you're looking at that, then Melbourne probably going favourites. But I want to bring something up. It feels like we speak about this guy every single week. I want to address some of the ridiculous overreactions, and that, of course, is Nicho Hynes.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, straight off the bat, I don't think he played particularly well the other night. I don't think he was that bad.
I don't think anyone played well,
I don't think he was great. He hasn't been great since he came back from injury. Now,
can I just ask you a quick question before that?
Of course.
Who do you think it was our best player on Saturday night?
Nicho was pretty good.
No, it wasn't.
Euro was okay, bit quiet. Brayley was all right at times, but then you're like, where's Brayley?
Will Kennedy?
Kennedy was good, not great. I don't think there was a great player. I don't think there was a terrible player. I just think they were just outplayed man to man, which I'm okay with. Nicho Hynes, though. I've seen some of the most ridiculous crap in the last few days. I've seen replies from people that I respect and I actually value their opinion, say, this guy's terrible, he's never been good, he's a choker, he's not a halfback, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk facts, Terry. The fact is, he dragged us to 2 straight final series we had no right to be in. He was our best player in all 3 finals games. This year, he was the form player of the competition. He was 1 point off Dylan Edwards when the Dally M went behind closed, when he got injured, when he got caught up for Origin. Origin messed with his head. He came back a shell of a player. Put in some okay performances, had an injury that should have written him out for the year. Maybe he should have sat the year out and took that. I don't think so, because he was our only chance of beating Penrith. I maintain that. I understand why he came back, but if he didn't, I also would have bought into that. This is a guy who's been our best player for probably 50 of 56 to 58 weeks, and the carry-on for this guy, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether he's liked everyone's girlfriend's Instagram's accounts, or he's gone in and people just don't like that his hair's too pretty, or that he used to be a battler who overcame the nonsense that has taken over his life and gave him a hard sell, to be honest. He has no right to be where he's at. Let's call a spade a spade. Maybe they just don't like that. Maybe they're just jealous that he's just too damn good looking and too good at football. Garbage. He's out of form. He's not a bad player.
No.
And talk about throwing him away or benching him for Dan Atkinson or any of this rubbish is just that, Terry. It's rubbish.
I agree with everything you said there, right? Here's what needs to happen this off-season. Bunker down. He went to the media to tell them that he was off social media. Stay off of it.
Yeah.
Don't run to the media. Don't talk to them. Don't do anything, right? We've got no players in the Australian squad, which is great. Good news for us.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Ramsey can count himself really harsh to not at least be in the squad.
Stag's got in the squad.
Yeah.
I think he can, yeah.
Yeah, I think he can count himself really, really unlucky, right? You're going to have Britt Nicker and Ronaldo Mulatalo in the New Zealand squad. But for Nicho Hynes, take this time, go away. He's got a new girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah. Head away, head overseas, be the first one back at training.
Yep.
And when I mean be the first one back at training, on the day that they come back to training, be the first one there. But don't stay out of the media. Don't turn around and go, this is my year, I'm in a better headspace, I had all this, counselling or whatever in the off-season. Just shut up. If someone asks you for a comment, no comment. Don't say anything. Get your head back into the game and chuck a Jamie Lyon. Retire from rep football.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I say that.
Yeah.
I don't think he can. It got in his head.
Yeah.
We saw him.
Jack Whiten's done it. Jamie Lyon's done it. Just retire.
Just say, I'm not playing rep football for a couple of years. And then if he demands it, you form, go for it.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. He's still our most important player. But he's a scapegoat. And don't get me wrong, I scapegoat players all the time. I blame Brayley for a lot of time because it gets a lot of reaction online. Kennedy cops it, etc., etc. We'll check Finn's up because we're going to talk about our depth and we'll talk more about it in a minute. But the players coming through and what we see happening next year. But just quickly to next year, Adam Fanua-Blake is the perfect signing, right?
Yep.
He will change everything in the forwards, which will lead me into a minute. We got 2 young fullbacks coming in that could steal the show. We got a 13. We got Jess Colholm. We got a whole lot of players. We got a centre. We got all sorts of players. So this weekend was way more win than it was loss. But forwards, they were all pretty. They all got dominated on the weekend.
There's only one forward that went forward on the weekend. He's the one that's copping the most grief.
I've seen now. Toby Rudolph is the player who's accepted that trip was disgusting.
Oh,
I hate
lucky
that.
boy to stay on the field.
It hasn't been suspended all week, all year.
The thing happened right in front of us, and I turned straight to Paul and I said, "That's 10 in the bin for sure," because when you have a look at all the trips this year, that was the worst.
It was by far the worst.
That was gross.
He's accepted a week, which
he
is
ain't going to
huge
Vegas.
because he's not going to Vegas unless he can convince them to do it in the preseason cup, which is ridiculous. Everyone said that he should just take the suspension for life and go away. I saw someone come out and say that Oregon Kaufusi was our best forward this year, despite averaging 60 minutes.
60 metres.
60 metres, rather. That Hamlin-Uele deserved to be there over Toby Rudolph, despite being horribly unfit. Played really well for the Jets, which worked out selfishly. Toby Rudolph has been our best forward for the
8 weeks.
Back end of the season.
Yep.
Okay, he had some shockers. We rightly called him out. But because we've had him on the show,
And he rightly got dropped.
we cop a lot of grief for that. And whatever, I don't care that's our bed, we'll lay in it.
Yeah.
The laziness. The outrage media have picked 2 players scapegoats, and all the fans that can't think for themselves have gone, he's right.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
Only one forward went for 100 metres against Penrith and Melbourne. Only one, and it was the same player. It's the same. It's the only guy who went for it. Like Britt Nicho had a tremendous season, right? And unfortunately got ruled out of being a Dalian player, positional player of the year, and found that out today. But we say that we want our forwards to stand up again in these big games. Nicho didn't do it. Nicho didn't do it against Melbourne, and he didn't do it against Penrith. He was a lot better against Penrith, but he still had a case of the dropsies. He had 7 missed tackles. He got caught out of position a fair bit. He left Talakai for dead on the first try. There was one guy who put his hand up and went forward, and he went toe to toe with James Fisher-Harris.
Don't forget last week he came on and changed the game in the last 15 or 25 minutes against. Yeah, it's lazy.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. If you want to have a go,
it's like the whole Jack Williams drops the ball every week, but Jack Williams doesn't drop the ball every week.
He's got 4 drops all season. Look, the other night, Toby dropped the ball once, and Kaufusi dropped the ball once. And all I heard was that Kaufusi was shouldered up S Creek when he caught the ball in his chest, beat a tackle and dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Nicho had passed the ball and ran back to take the kick on the 5th.
Yeah.
Toby just dropped the ball. You got to stop watching bit parts and hearing a lazy journalist who goes, "Oh, this will hit," and go, "Yeah, that's factual." No, sit back. It's going to sound ironic. Sit back, let the emotion, then go at it. And I'm telling you, Toby Rudolph's been our best forward for the past 8 weeks.
Yeah.
If you disagree, you're flat out wrong. And please prove me wrong in the comments. I dare you to prove one better middle forward. And watch, they'll say Jack Williams. Oh, but who drops the ball? Ridiculous. But mate, you mentioned someone before, Talakai. Love the bloke, but that is the last time I will ever see him at centres, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Yeah, I think Fitz made a really, really
monumental error
by not blooding Chris Vaiala, right? Now, obviously, if you bring Chris Vaiala in, you don't get the magic that he put on the weekend because he was sensational for the Jets. 2 great tries, right? Unfortunately, the Newtown Jets aren't as important as the Cronulla Sharks, and probably getting those reps in, we could have had him in for 6 games, you know. Now, whether his defence would have held up or not, he's a specialist centre.
Yeah.
But we've asked a guy who was a left edge back rower at Newtown, coming off the bench, to become a middle forward, to then become a centre, to then go back to being a middle forward, to then fill in at centres. He's now a fill-in at centre, and I'm going to say he's our 4th best option at centre. Maybe 5th, because Harodi was really good in the centres as well. But there's undeniable, Jesse Ramian was one of the 3 best centres in the competition this year, and I don't even think he was 3rd.
Yeah.
Right? Lero is going to win the Rookie of the Year.
He's a beast.
Absolute beast.
Absolute
Chris Vaiala is going to go and be a star somewhere else because our 2 centres are going to be the centres at the club for a very, very long time.
You got Harodi, and I'm going to throw Michael Gabriel.
Gabriel's very young. Yeah,
he's going to be huge. So
he's going to be huge.
There's no reason.
There's no reason for Talakai to ever be there again. I understand we've got his cousin and we want him to be in the team. That's great. He can be our middle edge for. I would love him to take Cam. Like, I am so off Cam McInnes. I would love him to be our 13 next year and Cam McInnes to go and play in England. Like, let him go to Wigan. That's fine. So that way you can still enjoy him. Because I really don't.
That's fair.
I don't enjoy him at all. But yeah, he can't play in the centres ever. That miss on Paul Alamotti's try, Talakai was defending as a back rower.
Yeah, he was. And I'm not having a go. He was asked to play a position that he's not done. But the justifications are not there anymore. He just can't play centre. It's as simple as that.
He's too slow.
And nor should he.
He's too slow and he can't move laterally because we've asked him to put on weight to make metres in the middle of the park.
love the bloke. He's going to be huge off the bench next year. Now, from the negative to the positive. Oh, no, let's stick with the negative. Jersey Flegg's 11-game win streak came to an end. We've lost 2 games in 13 weeks.
Both to the Bulldogs.
Both by 2 points. They were outstanding on the weekend. We had a player sin bin and conceded 14 points or 12 points.
12 points, yeah. 10 points.
We were massively outplayed. How we were still in the game at half-time is beyond me. They bossed the second half. It goes 2 more minutes, we win. I'm convinced. Christian Dixon, re-signed the kid, was a monster. Taj Ford has had 2 wows of games and has to be looked at as a long-term option.
He's been pretty good this season, Taj Ford, but the thing is, the minute Riley Pollard came in, it became the Riley Pollard show. Look, it was so heartbreaking, that result, because the guys had to win. Like, it was sudden death for them for 3 months. Literally, lose a game and you're out.
Oh, gone. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
They
hold their heads high on that.
They were so magnificent, and we got some superstars, which we'll break down in Fins Up during the off season.
There'll be a 3-part Fins Up coming about the Flegg, players to watch for, about Newtown, how awesome they are. And obviously we'll do the rundown of the gents as well. But from Jersey Flegg to a game that you and I did not tip this result. No one tipped this result. In fact, at the start, at kickoff time, people, like the bookmakers, had just looked at that and said, Cronulla aren't outside enough here, and they were at 385.
Yeah, that makes sense going in.
And the girls did it.
The girls they saved their literal best performance.
Yep.
To the most important game of them all.
Yep.
Took Brisbane apart at home.
Yeah.
Their superstars. Ali Bringshaw played really well.
Yep.
I'm going to make a controversial statement here. Hafanga, who is a weapon at centre, would not go anywhere near Nessa Biddle because Biddle hit her early and she hit her often.
Yep.
And Nessa Biddle was in the centre. It was in the team of the year.
Yep.
She's going to be the most frightening centre in the game within 12 months.
And Nessa Biddle has got a really, really big case to say that she's the best player in the game as a centre.
Yeah.
She is magnificent.
Only the Roosters girls are above her at the moment, which is coincidental.
Oh, it's Isabel Kelly? Oh, here is Isabel Kelly. I think she's probably on par with Surgis.
I'll take Biddle.
She's I'll take Biddle.
She's a monster. They were fantastic.
Siana Penatani had a...
She could be the best.
She had a captain's knock.
14-0.
Yeah, 14.
Against Brisbane, who are the highest scoring team of the season.
First time they've ever been held to
Ever been shut out. At home, in a prelim. Against a team that just lost to the Tigers.
Now, I want to say this. A couple of weeks ago, you and I were saying, oh, Jesus, we've thrown a minor premiership away. The last 3 minor premiers have not made the grand final.
Good move.
Yeah.
I have to admit, that Tigers game, now we were there.
Yeah.
And if results went the way they did, I wanted to win because I wanted to finish third because I thought the Roosters would finish first. And my whole idea of thinking was we almost beat Brisbane last time and we absolutely shanked it. We can get them.
Yep.
And then when it happened, I'm like, we've
got to play the Roosters.
Then it worked. We played Brisbane and you're like, God, all right, maybe I'm just talking myself into believing.
Yeah.
They went out there and they put a beat down on them. Mm-hmm. That's the first time, as you said, they've ever been held scoreless. That is a superstar team. They've just been embarrassed on their home patch. We're going into a prelim as massive underdogs.
Yeah.
Do not make any mistake. We haven't scored against this team in like years. Well, it's only playing once, but literal years. But it doesn't matter. Only one team can beat the Roosters this Sunday, Terry. Mm-hmm. That's us.
Yeah, look, huge. And, you know, I know I was a little bit cranky in our group chat that we had. Emma Tonegado cannot play any worse than that, right?
Yeah.
And to turn around and say that your superstar player had an absolute shocker and you won 14-0.
She's saving it for the big dance?
Mate, is she? Look, the expectations going into this game here, like the Roosters are red hot, right? They are absolutely red hot. Newcastle, to be fair, came back in that game there, but I think the Roosters had checked out.
Never close. Yeah.
They 24-4.
They knew. They booked their tickets.
Kind of had a snooze, but look, I don't think it's going to be a 40-0 flogging again.
Better not be.
But look, the girls can be so proud of themselves. All it takes is just 70 minutes of good football. That's all they got to do. And to cap it off,
speaking of good football,
the Newtown Jets made a little bit of history here, right? In defeating the North Sydney Bears, the Bears became the first team in the reserve grade competition to lose back-to-back grand finals since the 90s.
What?
93, 94. Mm-hmm. Do you know who the halfback was for the Newcastle Knights in 93-94?
I don't know. Who was it?
In 93, it was Andrew Johns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Yeah.
They're in good company.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Jets were amazing. Hamlin Uele was awesome. Our mate Geordie Linu, how he stayed up.
that try was
they should have just thrown him to the ground, but they kept wrestling him.
They did. They wanted to dominate the tackle.
Yeah,
He said, all right.
Yeah, no worries. Hiroti was awesome. Chris Vaiella there's a photo of Chris Vaiella looking at Puru in the sheds, giving him some side eye. Because that was Vaela's medal. Like, Puru was awesome, don't get me wrong.
Was good.
But Vaela's probably sitting there thinking, man, I should have had that medal.
Yeah, that's my medal.
That's my
They
medal.
were all good. Like, to a man.
That intercept that Puru took.
Oh, it was monstrous. Stone Street had a good game. I thought he absolutely murdered a try just quietly when he went in and set out. But he otherwise was magnificent.
Yeah. 18 runs, 200 metres. It was awesome.
They pretty much looked on Sunday and said, okay, Ison can play Flegg or he can play New South Wales Cup. We're going to win the one he plays.
Yep.
And they picked New South Wales Cup. Of course, Torkamo earned the right, so that's a bit tongue-in-cheek. But he broke, dead set, 40 tackles.
Ison's so young, right? But that kick at the end of the game, they put a bomb up. It was a nothing bomb. It was 30 metres out from the line. Brother, don't jump.
No,
or let it bounce.
Devil's advocate, he attacked the ball.
Don't jump.
Look,
we're lucky that Newtown Jets legend Bronson Garlick didn't want North Sydney to win that game. He was like, nah, here, you can have this. Didn't he look like he had the shits when he scored that try as well? He was like, I scored against the team that made me famous.
As he should. The boys were great and they set up a magnificent shot at
I want to say that Fitzgibbon on the wing for North Sydney has got some pace.
He's a beast. He's been playing for Norse and he stayed with Norse after the Roosters left. The thinking was he was going to go with. And I think he was a top try scorer or very close to. That team we beat were crazy because they brought Suafongalongo in late and they became favourites. It shifted at like 60 cents. And the betting, it is what it is. But they just went try for try. Newtown scored late and we had a chance to ice it with a field goal and Puru went, no, let's kick it into the corner. And I thought, okay, that's good. And then I think we gave away a penalty or they ran through and I thought, oh, God, take the one. But overall, the Jets, 10 out of 10 season. The Flegg, 9.5 out of 10. The girls are a straight 10.
I think the Flegg had a 10 out of 10 season considering where they were.
Well, they shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, like 3.5 months ago, we were sitting here going, yeah, they're better than all these teams, but they sit second last. And they went from second last to a grand final, right? So I think really, really good season. The girls definitely making a grand final.
10.
Yeah.
I think the guys are a solid 8.
Yeah, considering the girls, if you go back into the betting market, were 5th. Yep.
We said they get 4th.
The Titans were premiers elect. So it's all around. It's happy being a Shark.
It's got to be positive where you can, and it's time to be positive.
Dan,
talk to me, Terry.
It's news time.
It's over.
It's over. The Kevolution is over. I was a believer.
You were?
I was a big believer of the Kevolution. Now, it's not a pretty picture for him, right?
Oh, no.
In 2022, they were in the top 4 for a long part of the season, and with about 4 weeks to go, they couldn't make finals. 2023, they were up 16 points in the grand final with 15 minutes to go, and they lost. 2024, they're the red-hot favourites to win the competition and end Penrith's run.
Yep.
You and I had them minor premiers by a long shot.
Confident, yeah.
Confident they were going to be the minor premiers. And they finished behind the Dragons.
Well, you've used them now.
Now, you and I had the Dragons last.
Yep. Shouldn't be possible.
So did they finish 18th?
It must feel like it.
Jesus.
He had to pay. Well, I said a couple of weeks ago, there's no way he doesn't get sacked. And then almost within an hour, coincidentally, all the Broncos old boys were like, yeah, Kev's our man. The Broncos were like, yeah, we're convinced. And then they did an end of season review and they probably looked and go, get out.
Yeah.
Get it. And he stepped down is what they're letting him say. That is purely because he's a legend of the thing. And just quietly, you have to feel for Billy Walters because there's 4 better hookers in that system. If he's still there on Monday, I'll be shocked.
There's a couple of stories going around that Alan Langer is going to walk because he's not happy with the treatment, and the Billy Walters is looking at his options. Mate, you just re-signed on a long-term deal.
Dig your heels.
Yeah, ain't no one going to give you that deal. Like, even Salford are going to look at you and go,
dig in.
Just stay there, bro. Like, if you have to play for like Redcliffe or Norths or whatever for the rest of your career, your dad did you a solid.
Yeah.
You're on $400,000 for the next 5 years. It's $2 million, Billy.
Enjoy, bro.
Stay there. Tell everybody you love him. Look, I think he had to go as well. I personally, as like an outsider looking in, I honestly thought that he would survive one more season.
Yep.
I thought the disruptions they had this year, the injuries they had this year, you know, the origin shot to Reece Walsh, the Payne Haas injuries, Adam Reynolds.
Being old.
Yeah, I really thought that they were going to give him one more year as well. And also I thought they were going to give him another year just to figure out how they were going to cope without the Flegler and Farnworth.
Yep. They were big losses.
They were big losses as well. But at the same time, I understand it. I actually think they've gone out and got the best coach that you can for that spot.
I have a feeling that Michael Maguire, who hasn't officially been announced, but
will be announced.
It's happening.
Yeah.
He stepped down from New South Wales just quietly.
Yeah.
I think he took the Blues job knowing, if I win a series here, there's about 5 or 6 people that are going to come knocking. And the Broncos were the first, and they're the highest marquee, and I think it's a great addition. I think they've done the right thing here. I think he'll take him to that next level.
I think he had his eyes on 3 jobs, right? He had I reckon he fully had his eyes on the Manly job.
Oh yeah.
He had his eyes on the Parramatta job, but the Blues job, you know,
It was there.
and the Parramatta job came up too quickly. I think he had his eyes on the Newcastle job as well. But beating that Queensland team in the way that he beat them, and with the discipline and how, like, you just hear that New South Wales team turn around and go, for 10 weeks we dialed in.
Yeah, it was
we like, no one spoke back to him. If he told you to be there at 5:30, you were there at 5:25 or 5:20, whatever it was. Like, they completely bought it, and I think the Broncos just went, this is probably our guy for 2 years.
He's the man.
Yeah. He's the one he's not going to be afraid to tell Reece Walsh to use some nail polish remover.
Pull your head in.
Yeah, you know, like he's going to be the right person for that team there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a frightening appointment.
It is. It's scary.
I was hoping they were going to do something stupid like give it to Billy Slater or Cameron Smith or both of them.
Yeah, I would have been happy for Walter to stay there for another couple of years.
Yeah,
a non-firm.
Or they were going to, you know, give it to the Walker brothers who haven't been relevant since you had hair.
Yeah, wow.
But I like the appointment, but I hate it at the same time.
Yeah, it feels good as a rugby league fan because you want the Broncos to do well and all that nonsense. But where there's a win, there's a loss.
Yes.
The Blues have lost Madge Maguire and are now looking for a coach. By the time this drops, there'll be 5, count them 5, options on zerotackle.com. Great friends of the show.
Is Laurie Daly one of them?
He is.
Yep.
He's one, Jeff Tooby's another. Danny Badiris is a third.
I think you guys just... Anyone who wants Jeff Tuvey to do something, he hasn't done anything for about 10 years. Just let it go.
No, I'll be happy with Tuvey. Holbrook was another one.
He hasn't coached anyone since Bradford.
Doesn't matter. With Laurie Daly, who's probably the favourite, hasn't coached for like 20 years. When he oversaw 5 from like 16 and got flogged every year for the Blues. So I don't think he's the go.
That's why I'm endorsing Laurie Daly's.
Yeah, because of Queensland. I personally think that Justin Holbrook's the easiest option. You put Holbrook there and you bring Badiris and Tuvey in as your assistants and roll them up. Another name I want to throw out there, he won't be considered, Josh Jackson.
Ooh.
Blues legend, highly held, highest regard of the game, let's be honest. Never heard anyone say a bad word about him. Just coached the Flegg boys to a grand final for the Dogs. They've all talked. The first thing they did was, this is Josh Jackson. Not, we're the best. They dropped about 4 F-bombs in the post, which was fantastic. Keep it up, love the emotion. They all thanked Josh Jackson.
Yeah.
And when he was announced, you're like, oh God, this guy's going to be a star. I'd be going to him and I'd say, sit as assistant for a couple of years under Holbrook. Yeah. It's your job.
Yeah, that's a really, really good shout because, you know, he's... And anytime he put a Blues jersey on, never let anyone down.
No, even when we're getting flogged, he was the player you look and go, oh, we didn't miss any tackles, he ran hard. Any of those 5 will probably do. I have a feeling it's going to be Laurie Daly, which frightens me because I didn't rate him as a coach. I know he played some pretty handy opposition, and the Queensland side, with the greatest respect, is not that they were. No
Redemption.
team ever has.
Let him come back.
Mate, I don't particularly like Laurie Daly. I don't want him as a coach. I put in the article the reasons why he'd make a good coach.
Can I throw up a name?
Yes.
Right? This will probably make you throw up. Brad Fittler.
No. Absolutely not. Knew that was coming from a mile off. No, I'm going Justin Holbrook if it's me. He's got the Roosters firing as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
I just don't think that any of the old boys, if you're going to pick one, it's two of you, because the guy would die for that jersey, and we all know that the Origin coach doesn't actually coach, they just inspire. Give it to twos.
Right. Now, Dan, for many weeks I have sat on this couch and I've bit my tongue and I've let you have the run, the swipes, the articles, the tweets. I've let you do it all about a certain individual in this game.
Yep. All yours.
Graham Annesley needs to step down. He needs to step down tomorrow, and he just needs to go into the abyss, right? Now, I don't really watch the press conferences in all that much detail, but one really caught my eye today, and it's the Sifa Talakai obstruction, no try to Sania Taruva. Now, at the ground, the minute Talakai was hit, I thought they were going to give it an obstruction. I was actually very shocked that Ashley Klein pointed to the spot. Until I saw that it was Chris Sutton as the touch judge that said, yeah, everything was fine, right? One look at the replay, and you just see Garner wipe out Talakai, and I thought, absolutely no problems, they're going to overturn it. They overturned it on one look on that replay, right? Now, I think Chris Butler has done himself a disservice with his wording when he said he hit the outside shoulder. He didn't. He hit Talakai's inside shoulder, but he wiped him out.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly wiped him out. And I've seen people turn around and go, well, Talakai only had eyes for... And a Penrith fan put a picture up that said he's only got eyes for Garner, despite Talakai's head being like that.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so...
Good argument.
The other thing as well is that Garner's arm wrapped around Talakai, not Talakai's arm wrapped around Garner.
Superman punched him.
Yeah. Garner's arm was wrapped around Talakai. So Butler he shouldn't have said inside or outside shoulder. He should have just said, Luke Garner has run a line and he has denied Sifa Talakai the opportunity. We have a decision.
Yep.
Right? You live with that. Now, Graham Annesley has come out today and said that... yeah, apart from the dribble that he did, he's come out and said that try should be overturned because he didn't think Sifa Talakai was going to get there. This is where my issue lies. Penrith played the Roosters this year, not the final, at home. Joe Roy-Hargraves did everything that you want a decoy runner to do. He ran through the line, but he ran into Dylan Edwards. And the try was taken off the Roosters. Joey Manu scored the try. The try was taken off the Roosters because Dylan Edwards was denied the opportunity to save the try. So I've gone back and I've watched the press conference from Graham Annesley, who said that the video referee got that right because despite the fact that Dylan Edwards may not have got there, he was denied the opportunity. So what is the difference in his wording? Why is it good for one and not for the other? Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist that thinks that the NRL are doing whatever they can for this Penrith dynasty. Penrith don't need any leg ups. Excuse the French.
True.
They don't need any leg ups, right? And Penrith are probably the one team of this generation, like everyone's going, oh, it's so boring watching Penrith win. They're the one team of our generation that's actually doing it right.
Yeah.
It's just junior after junior after junior, player development. They don't go out and sign many big names. This is the first year that you actually think, geez, Penrith have gone and recruited a couple of players, a couple of decent players. Like their biggest signing in this time has been Scott Sorensen.
Yeah. Handsome as
yeah, and he's really handsome as well, right? But they don't need any of these additional leg ups. But when he turns around and says, in one breath, Dylan Edwards was denied the opportunity to score a try, and in the same breath, that try should have been held up because I don't think Talakai would have got there. What's the difference? And Talakai was closer than Dylan Edwards was.
The blokes that believe in have been on for 12 weeks. I think at the end of the year, they're doing a end of year review.
Yeah, he's got to go.
End of the year. The first thing they've got to do is say, oi, door. Maxwell, door. Both of you are hopeless. Neither of you can do it. The second thing they need to do is when they hire someone, they're going to say, you know those god-awful, cringeworthy, easy to tear apart press conferences? They're gone.
Yeah.
Do never, ever, ever, ever do that again. This is exactly why. Because two decisions, okay, I can be argued that they were both right or they were both wrong, depending on who it is and what night it is. Circumstances completely different, whatever. I'll go with both. They got them both right. For him to come out and say that just has people like yourself saying, well, hold on a minute. And I guarantee you there's more astute people that have more time on their hands that have gone through and made a list of the contradictions. The bloke does not understand the game. For a guy who used to referee, and I think he might have played years back, he is a blithering idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. You send me one of those. You can't say that. I dare you, because
I can say
the only thing that gets you out of slander or libel is telling the truth. And the truth is, Graham Annesley is horribly unqualified.
Mm-hmm.
He's out of his depth, and he's an embarrassment to the game.
Mm-hmm.
They should say, oi, after the grand final, you don't say anything. Or you go up there and say, I quit. And everyone stands and applauds
Yeah, that's what
and
I'm
never
saying.
come back.
Unless there is a highly controversial moment in the grand final, which, touch wood, there isn't, I'm hoping that the Monday press conference, he's standing up and saying, this is my last one.
I've been terrible.
I'm out the door.
Apologise to Dan and Terry.
I'm taking Jared Maxwell. I'm taking both the Suttons with me. P.S. Adam G should have been in the prelim. Dan? I know we spoke about it last week. We picked our team of the year.
Yep.
The Daily M team of the year is coming out.
Nominations are out. And I have to say that everyone we named, or that I named,
Yeah.
were in the said nominations, which has me thinking, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any obvious you've looked and gone, oh, he shouldn't be there? Or was there anyone that you thought, why isn't he there?
I think a guy who stands on a wing and scores 25 tries, pretty hard done by not to get a nomination.
That's fair enough.
I just think Kyle Felt could look at that and go, I'm probably a lot better than all of them. And he was definitely a lot better than Zach Lomax.
Yeah.
The back end of the year, right? So I think that's one. But I think, Teddy, who is it? It's Teddy, Hammer, and Edwards with the nominations for fullback.
Don't even care, it's Terry.
It's Teddy. I don't know how Hammer got that nomination, but then I think I look at it and just go, well, Melbourne had a couple of fullbacks, didn't they? Will Kennedy's never going to get a nomination. Scott Drinkwater,
He's the only one that's going to come.
he's the only one. I think all the centres were spot on. Very, very shocked that they didn't nominate Joey Manu, though, because he's the token nomination every
they
year.
always put him in.
The 5'8", bang on the money.
Did and all the way.
The halfbacks.
Yeah, there's
Ben Hunt.
one. There's one halfback, and then there's the rest.
Ben Hunt.
Well, he must have been the third highest point getter, is all I can think of. Hughes is going to win that easy, and Cherry Evans is there because he's had a pretty good season. But that's the easiest one. I love the props.
Mitch Barnett not getting a nomination is awful.
I think he was suspended, wasn't he?
No.
No?
No, this is the 1 year Mitch Barnett has never copped a suspension.
Well, I think he should be there. Now, I've seen a lot of people come out and say Lindsay Collins is going to make Team of the Year. I can't remember him playing for the season.
Yeah.
I was shocked that his name was there,
Yeah.
but I saw a whole lot of people come out and say that he's got to be with Fanua Blake or Tarpany.
No.
It's got to be Tarpany and Fanua Blake.
Yeah, you don't put someone with Tarpany or Fanua Blake. You
Yeah,
put
put them
Tarpany
together.
with Fanua Blake.
Second rowers and locks were spot on. I think, so the rookies,
Who was the third lock?
Yo, Carrigan, and I can't remember who it was. I don't think it matters. It's Yo.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Oh, is it Yo?
Yeah, it's Yo.
Yeah, it's Yo.
Yeah.
It's Yo.
The rookie of the year, though, so the three that were named, Iro, Bostock, and Strange, are the three I would have named. I'm shocked Blaze Talangi's not there because all I've heard is that he's going to win it. Now, I thought that was... don't get me wrong, I don't want to disrespect the kid. I thought he had a good season.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Iro, then a gap, and then I thought Bostock had I actually named him as my favourite with 8 weeks to go.
Mm-hmm.
He was tremendous. Ethan Strange got dropped and didn't play the last couple of weeks. That, to me, says he's gone.
Yep.
It's going to come down to Dally M points, which is dumb.
I don't think the rookie of the year doesn't come down
You look
to
at that
Dalian
and it's
points.
Kalira. It's not even close.
Yeah,
the
it's
bloke
not.
transformed Cronulla, who lost to the Tigers, into a team that beat the Tigers by 1 million.
Yeah, coach of the year as well. I had, for a long period of time, I was saying it was Cameron Serrata. However, the fact that Melbourne won the minor premiership by 2 clear games, it's Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's
Captain of the year, I know a lot of people are going to say Isaiah. I still think that it's Stephen Crichton. It's Stephen
going to be
Crichton.
fun. We'll be
I think the best captain in the NRL is Isaiah.
Yeah, that's
right. He is the best captain in the NRL. But the captain of the year this year and the way that he transformed the Bulldogs and the culture that he brought to the Dogs, and you just see him on the sideline in that trial game and you see him communicating with the referees respectfully. He's probably the one captain that I don't think that the referees ever turned around and said, "Oi, Stephen, watch how he's speaking to me." Really respectful. I actually think he was probably the referee. He was the captain that got the most referees challenges rights as well. So there you are. He's a shoo-in for that. But look, it's going to be a great award show. On the flip side, who's going to win the Dally M for the NRLW?
In the pre-season, I said Taron Aitken. Mm-hmm. I don't hate that shout. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the Broncos. the way they played. Look, there are a lot of points, and I don't do 3-2-1s for the ladies, which otherwise I'd say for the men's I had Tedesco beating Hughes by a point because he didn't play that last game. I'll go with a Rooster. Maybe Isabel Kelly has done enough. Brebner at the back's been fantastic. It'd probably be one of those. Sharks girls fell away late.
Yeah, I think, was it Brooke Anderson was...
She was leading after 2 rounds, and then I stopped paying attention, and
Yeah.
she's not been in the nominations. But whatever, we're happy with that. Yeah,
But she was in the nominations?
No,
No.
look, I'll go. I'll go Isabel Kelly.
Yeah, I'll go Isabel Kelly as well. I think she's been absolutely fantastic. Coach of the year is going to be Tony Herman.
Yes.
I don't want to hear anything else. It's got to be Tony Herman. And I'm not too sure on rookies.
There was a few Newcastle blooded, some quick. There's probably 5 or 6 to be honest. The Canberra got a couple of rookies. I don't know. I straight up Georgia Hanaway.
There you go. Oh, I like it.
Nah.
Won't happen. Breaking news, Dan.
Literally happened.
Breaking news. 3 minutes ago, Nelson Asofa-Solomona has been found guilty and will miss 5 weeks for, let's face it, a crock of shit from the judiciary.
If it wasn't his 32nd occasion, I would agree.
This is the problem I have with the NRL judiciary. They hand out fines all year. All year. It's a fine, it's a fine, it's a fine, it's a fine. This is probably like the least worst thing that Nelson has done in a decade.
He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's like literally picked someone up and jumped on their neck.
Yeah.
And this is the one that he's going to cop a 5-week suspension for?
Grand final.
Get
4
real.
games in England. Although they may name for the Kiwis, he might miss a couple there. Yeah, I don't know. The shot. It wasn't a good shot.
Has he re-signed with Melbourne?
No, he's going to England. I don't look. I thought it was 10,
Yeah, I thought it was a bin.
and then you look and think.
But $3,000. You got to look at that.
He's gone up. He's raised his shoulder. I immediately thought he's gone because he'd done it so often. In hindsight, do you go back to the last time and say, we take the 1 week and get a clean slate? Or maybe they just say, no, it doesn't work like that, and it keeps piling on top?
At one point here, when he copped a $3,000 fine and he accepted it, he should have gone and fought one that he knew he was going to lose and get that clean slate.
He said, I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's a shame that he's going to miss grand final for this. But as they said, you can't take that into account.
No.
The bloke head-high'd a guy, knocked him out of the game in the first tackle, I believe.
First tackle of the game.
Got sin-binned. It was awful. 5 weeks is ridiculous. If it was just a week, I could cop that. But I know why it's 5. It is what it is.
It is what I think. The biggest outrage of this is that he's going to miss the grand final. Right? He is going to miss the grand final.
If he misses round 23 for this tackle, how you feel?
I don't care. If he misses round 23, 24, 25, 26 and 27 for that, there's your 5 weeks. You're probably just going, oh, well, whatever, he's fresh from the finals. Yeah. He's going to go and decapitate someone else. Yeah. But, yeah, like, I find this really harsh, and I'm never one to say, but I do think that, like, come for a grand final, that this is the time where you turn around and go, you can serve your suspension in round 1.
Yeah.
It's a grand final.
I can see that, but if I'm, say, a Shark and we're winning and Nathan Cleary's tearing us up, you go to Royce Hunt, kill him. And he goes and drop kicks him in the head, decapitates him, cops a 38-year ban, and we say you can serve it from year 1. I know that's stupid and ridiculous to say, but someone is going to take advantage of that. Coincidentally, it's probably Big Nelson.
Yeah.
If you said
right.
to him he gets to make that tackle first up, he's doing it.
You know what it is? This is the dad side of me that's coming out that's going, because if that was my kid who was going to miss a game for something like that, he'd just be like...
But if your kid was Lindsay Collins, who, would fail a HIA even when not concussed, how are you feeling? I'd want his head. I'd want Nelson's head.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a catch-22 situation.
Someone said this is
they've got... I just don't like the judiciary process that we've got here, that all year, this guy can be an absolute prick on the field and nothing comes of it, and now we want to take a stand on him. I think that's what's wound me up.
Speaking of failing HIAs, Terry, someone earlier said that this is as big as when Cam Smith missed the grand final after suspension. It's not, because it's Cam Smith. You idiots.
Yeah, fair.
Still pretty big though.
Tough. Like, he's literally the biggest guy to be suspended. Dan,
Talk to me, Terry.
some top sport tips.
Off another perfect round. That's like 3 in a row. And yes, they're finals, I know.
Yeah. I think we both picked a perfect round this week.
Well, you
Whatever.
copied.
I was never picking the Sharks.
No one was.
No.
Speaking of picking the Sharks,
Yeah. Well, the Jets and the Devils are playing in the State Cup. I think this is a chance for New South Wales Cup to win it 5 years.
yeah, I think they've only won 2. They won the first one, and I'm pretty sure they got one in the middle. They didn't upset Queensland, but Jets are going as heavy favourites.
Yeah, the PNG Hunters. They got flogged, didn't they?
Yeah. I know.
St George got St George flogged someone.
They won the first one, so I remember, because I think that was Red
Did
Cliff.
Toby Rudolph's team win it, or did they lose?
No,
it?
they lost because he
tore his ACL. That's right. Yeah, we probably should look into this, but anyway, who cares?
They
The
got
Jets,
2, and they're not going to get this one.
No, the Jets should win this and win cup. Now, big news for the Jets. We didn't touch on this, but Kale Rajab will probably miss the game.
No, his shoulder was in about 38 pieces of Paul Buggy, who had a wow of a season.
Yeah, Billy Magoulias will play 6.
No, it's got to be Beryl, because he played 6 and looked amazing, and Healy's an 80 minute. What I would do if I'm the Jets is say Dan Atkinson played 5 games for us early in the season and sat a lot for the Sharks as 18th man and didn't come down. What I would say is for the good of this, because it's not an NRL thing. It's New South Wales Cup versus Queensland Cup. And the New South Wales Cup rules say they can't. The Interstate Challenge says you can play Nicho Hynes if you want. I'd be bringing it up. I would be naming Beryl at 6. Put Dan Atkinson there.
Yeah,
Bring Connor Tracy back. Chuck him in. Okay.
I'd be naming Beryl at 6, and I'd be turning around to Beryl and Magoulias and just saying play the side of the rock.
No, what I would say to Billy Magoulias is don't you dare touch the ball. Not once.
He's been pretty good. He's been pretty, like, for a New South Wales Cup player.
Yeah, of course. So you tipping?
I'm going to
Got to be the mighty Jets.
Woo bags. Now the NRL. Sorry. The NRLW, the Sharks taking on the Roosters. The Roosters red hot favourites. Sharks in their second season have made
The darlings.
the grand final. Now, the last team to do that was the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah, the history's on our side.
History is on our side here. Can I ask you a question though to see if you get this right?
Uh-oh.
Who was the last men's team in their second season to make an to make a grand final and actually win it?
Second. What are you doing?
No, he got it. Did's got the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second season, grand final, won it.
Newcastle.
Melbourne, 1999.
Did they get there, did they?
They did.
Did they cheat and take that off them?
No.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that's why.
This was the Kamali Masterclass.
They've taken so many off them that it's hard to hear. Yeah, no.
Because it was the Dragons' first season, because remember they merged?
Yeah, that's
because they were crap.
Cheating bastards.
Yeah. Look, history's on our side, but Roosters.
Yeah, having lost 40-0 to them and them getting a world-class centre back and they're fully
Is Surge playing?
Yeah, they're going to be at full strength.
Oh.
Yeah, Cronulla are in big trouble here. But as I said earlier, only one team can beat the Roosters this weekend, and it's the Sharks.
Perfect 70 minutes. We haven't conceded in the finals.
No, we haven't. There's a lot to go on, but
the problem is this is the same script of the men's against the Panthers, right? Is that you just need to give the Roosters a sniff and they'll score points, whereas we're going to battle for points.
Yeah. We need to win the toss and kick off.
If something goes wrong early, we need to overcome it and overcome it pretty quickly.
It's tough.
I'll give us a shot picking the Roosters.
Yeah, me too.
The big one, the main event.
Can we call it the big dance?
The big dance, the last dance, whatever? No, you can't. Right.
The decider.
I want to address this, right? Good friend of the show, Snoog, has been tweeting all week that this is the chance for Penrith to be spoken about for 100 years. This team to be spoken about for 100 years. If they win. They're going to talk about you for the next 100 years if you lose this game as well, because Melbourne beat you either side.
Yeah.
Bookended you, right? Got to beat Melbourne this week for it to count. If you don't, only the elite teams beat Melbourne.
True. I strongly disagree.
Yeah, I'm just taking the piss.
This
Penrith
they could
fan's
lose
amazing.
by 140 and they're still the best team in the modern era because no one's ever won 3 in a row. And don't give me this, St George won 7. Yeah, when it was guys coming off the steel mill.
Yeah.
I'm not having a go. That's what they did.
Yeah.
So no, it's completely different.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
the best team in the modern era. Have they met their match though? Because I could argue that only one team in the modern era can beat this Panthers team, and it's this Melbourne.
And it is this Melbourne team. Now, you have a look on paper, Penrith have got them pretty much everywhere. But that spine from Melbourne is absolutely amazing.
The best 4 players on the field last week for Melbourne were their spine players.
Yep.
Jerome Hughes was a clear one, and I'll hear an argument for the rest of the 3 in any order. I don't care. That is what you want at this time of year, and those are the 4 best players. Clear is the only one I would take over the opposition at full flight. You could argue Edwards, but Pappenhausen's highest of highs are the highest of highs.
Yeah.
This is the perfect grand final.
You've
got the 2 worst
juggernauts.
guys, the 2 bullies that everyone hates, but when they go into battle, you're like, God, I want to see this.
Yeah. For everyone saying this is going to be like the worst grand final, no, it's not.
Delete your account.
Yeah, this is going to be... I think it's going to be an all-time great grand final.
This could be 8-6 or 40-all. Both teams can do anything on any given day.
Now, we haven't spoken about this, so we're doing a live tip here. We haven't spoken about who we think is going to win this game or whatever. I actually think the judiciary result goes in Penrith's favour.
Yep.
And I actually think that Penrith will still hold on to those demons of 2020.
Yep.
I really want Melbourne to win this game because you need something. You need something to be able to say to them, well, you never beat Melbourne. Yep. They beat Melbourne, they're literally flawless.
Yep.
Right? I think the only thing that they would really, really need to do after that is beat a Roosters team that has signed a whole bunch of players.
You know what they need to do? They need to win a World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
To get in there, they're going to have to win.
I don't care about the World Club Challenge.
They do.
Yeah, probably. I don't think they do because they don't pay. Yeah, whatever.
Good disrespect.
I am going to pick Penrith.
Picking Melbourne because in the biggest games, the biggest players stand up. And on the Penrith side, you've got Dylan Edwards, you've got Nathan Cleary, and you've got Isaiah Yeo, right?
And Jerome Luai.
Let's put Luai in that. On the other side, you have Cam Munster.
Yeah, who is the best big game player.
You only need Cam Munster. Yeah. He is dragged. That Penrith team is probably as good as the New South Wales team was that Munster beat off one night's sleep in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If Munster decides this is the game, he wins
that picture of him in the Origin camp with his eyes bloodshot, the bag still in his pocket, like he was
Allegedly.
gross. Yeah.
He hadn't slept in a month.
I know. Jerome Hughes, he's like the form that he's in is absolutely disgusting. Ryan Pappenhausen, he's back to his stinging best.
Harry Grant is taking the piss.
Yeah. Eli
Their
Katoa.
wingers are monsters.
Yeah, their wingers are monsters, but they're not meter eaters like the Penrith boys.
No, but they will fly.
I think, yeah.
Whoever kicks better out of Cleary and Hughes, God, this game is perfect. Anyone who is bagging this game, stop it.
Yeah, please.
Go
watch
tennis.
Yeah, I'm going to tip Penrith.
I'll tip Melbourne.
Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by the good people at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe everywhere you can. Dean, it's been a great season. We will be here during the off-season. We'll be covering the Pacific Championships and the Kangaroos games, Kiwis and everyone else who's going to be playing.
Rundowns, top 10s,
top
previews,
10s. Yeah,
reviews.
There's going to be everything as well. And we have to keep doing this show because producer Dids needs money to jump in on top of the Top Sport.
That's true.
And everything else as well. So,
thank you to anyone that watched us. Like, subscribe, please. Give comments.
Yeah.
Just shower me with attention, and Terry too, if you have to, I suppose. We will be here.
We will.
Celebrating a new premiere in Melbourne, potentially, but most importantly, the Jets.